Hello, welcome to No Load Time. My name is Joel Young, and with me is the most best, awesome, wonderful Street Fighter competitor there is, Obed Velez.
Ah, that's that's a little bit too much. I've been kind of retired, but thanks for the intro. We wanted to switch it up a little bit this week because not that it's gone stale. I really enjoy doing the intro, but Joel wanted to take over, so why not give Joel the opportunity to take over this one?
So I could finally throw some nice compliments towards you, man. You always call me the most interesting man. I'm like, how do you throw it off from there, man?
Yeah, the guy that's cashing checks and putting hits on people and all this stuff, and Marvel super fanboy number one.
Cashing those checks, man.
Yeah, the only guy that likes episode two, Joel Young, and like this, yeah, like very unique, uh, sort of
Oh man.
descriptions for you, sir. How you doing, man? What you been up to? Have everything good?
Yeah, man, it's been going good. Life just keeps on rolling, it's been a pretty slower weekend, which is much needed. So I was finally able to do some catch up. And what's awesome is that this weekend there was actually some good stuff that came out that I get to watch. I really don't get to watch much TV as it is. I know we've talked about this before. I think I'd rather game or get outside or do something else, whatever, on my weekend. But I actually made the decision because I've seen this come out, and what better way to spend my time than to watch the Star Wars Rebels return from its mid-season finale. And man, Obed, I'm telling you, dude, this show has it went from when it first started being something where I was like, meh, I probably won't even watch this, or if I do watch it, I'll just watch it casually. To now I like obviously now it's the end come next week, but it literally became from last year or something I had to watch every single episode.
They
Um,
really found their footing. Like after season one was good, but then season two, they really found their footing and they knocked it out of the park, man. It was good.
yeah, no, it's one of those things where they started off very kiddie, and I think that's because they wanted to make sure that they had a solid audience. Disney, the acquisition and all that. They wanted to make sure that that they had an audience there because it's on a Disney Channel, right? But I think now they fully embraced the darkness that surrounds this time, the time period that this is happening right before A New Hope and Rogue One. So it's not a very hopeful time, and that's why the first episode was called A New Hope, because hope was needed, and you get that feeling from what you're watching with Rebels, and if you've seen A New Hope and you've seen all these other movies, none of these characters are spoken of. So what does that lead you to believe? People are gonna die.
They're all
Um,
gone.
that they're all gone. Something this is how it is. And after its return from its mid-season finale, a major character has already died, and they handle the death better than it's an animated show, but they handle this death better than most shows I've ever seen that actually handle a character death. You feel emotion for an animated character, and that's just goes to tell how good of a storyteller Dave Filoni is. Speaking of Dave Filoni, man, you watch these last few episodes and you get the feeling in your heart that this guy knows Star Wars better than most people on Earth right now.
It's pretty
Like
good. Yeah.
he knows his stuff so well that I would even make an argument that he could be running Lucasfilm. And I'm not saying that Kathleen is, because she's perfectly fine, doing great. But I'm just saying in the sense of what he knows, how involved he is, the way he's just delivered this incredible storyline that you would imagine where they are right now. You would think that 4 years ago when they started this thing, that he knew exactly where it was going to end, and he probably did, because it's just so seamlessly progressed. It doesn't feel like you've watched it they're just trying to throw content out. They're just trying to throw these things out there just to fill it in and make it interesting. No, it's following, it's pacing, it's footing very well. It's telling you a story, and these last 4 episodes can actually give you a cinematic feel. It almost feels like you're watching a movie if you watch these all together. It's that connected. The Loth Wolves, amazing. They went from being characters that I was unsure of to now just being characters that I love. The way they've used Lothal and the Jedi Temple. Man, this this last episode, they go all the way back to Old Republic days. I mean, they're pulling out stuff that like really hardcore Star Wars fans are gonna have to know. There's a character in there called the Minister that he's kind of more like a cliche kind of like character that of a villain. But I think he's the character that potentially, and I could be wrong, maybe our viewers will tell me differently, but I think he's the character that's actually the old guy that you see bowing before Vader in Rogue One, that he's like letting him know about Krennic's arrival. I
Oh,
think he
like
could,
his assistant.
yeah, I think that could be him. This character's called the Ministers, all they refer to him as. But I get a weird feeling that's the same person because he looks awfully the same, and he's very like sensitive of the Force, but from a dark side. Um, Obviously, the only character that we know that survives is Syndulla, Hera Syndulla. Just because when you watch Rogue One, if you caught the reference when they're leaving the base on Yavin, that you actually hear like on the PA system, like General Syndulla is what they refer to her as. Please report to your station, General Syndulla. And she's a captain right now on the show, but we know that she's going to end up becoming a general in the future, and it was confirmed by Filoni. Yes, that was a nod to the fact that she exists during Rogue One. She's out there during that battle as a captain, as a general. But everybody else, man, with what they did with that one character's death, and you hear what Ezra says at the end of this. Spoiler, it's not Ezra. What you hear by what Ezra says at the end of this last episode before we go into the finale, it's like, yeah, it's gonna basically become down to the ultimate sacrifice. And it's a great way to go out. I won't say anything about spoilers from the sense of Ahsoka because she is a fan favorite character. But I will say that if you were at Star Wars Celebration, you probably remember that Dave Filoni, when he came out to us, he was wearing an Ahsoka Lives shirt with a question mark on it. And when they played for us, we got to see the first episode of Rebels. When they played the episode, when he came back on stage, he wore Ahsoka Lives with an exclamation point. He changed shirts. And then afterwards, when he left, he changed back. And afterwards, when he left to speak to the media, the press, he changed back into his Ahsoka Lives with a question mark shirt. And the media asked him about it, like, hey, did you change shirts? Like, you were just out there wearing this. And he was like, I didn't do anything. Like, just messing around with everyone. But we knew, like, bro, like, we have screenshots, pictures of you changed, like, your shirt's not the same. That's an exclamation point. But yeah, they answered the question about Ahsoka. And if you saw the end of the prior season where Ahsoka is fighting Vader, and they don't tell you what happens, they just leave, and you assume that either she died. Obviously, they show her walking away, but you don't know if she died, if she confronted Vader further, what happened. But they answered the question in a very satisfying way. So, long story short, Obed, I can't recommend enough, especially this last season, to watch of Star Wars Rebels. If you're a Star Wars fan, it's just something you got to do. There's a lot of really amazing moments, some really sweaty moments for Star Wars. They're not holding anything back, and I look forward to the finale. I feel sad that this is it. This is the end of the show. I think it's going to be an hour and a half or 2 hour finale, something along those lines that they're going to have. But man, I look forward to seeing what happens next. So I'll give you guys an update probably in the next episode.
Yeah, and I'm sure Disney has something already planned for after when this is done, because I'm sure that they are going to give Filoni another project, and he's probably going to run with it. So
there's been rumors that Filoni was going to be involved with the new Disney streaming service, that he was going to be making some live content, like he was going to transition from animation to be like a showrunner for one of their live new Star Wars shows, and that would be like the perfect choice. I mean,
that would be like a perfect transition for him. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he can make movies, but I think, like again, you're saying, perfect transition, get him into some live stuff, and he can tell you a long linear story. He's proven that, so I don't see why not.
Cool, awesome, man. Yeah, not much from my side, man. It's been again. So last time we talked, I had a quick match on Dragon Ball. I've been still doing that game, man. It was awesome. So last time I talked to you guys and I talked to you, Joe, I did I did a ring match, and there's a bug on ring matches where the matchmaking is not the way it should be, and that was probably the issues that I was seeing when I tried it the first time. So last weekend I decided to finally jump into ranked. And Joe, the entire week, I want the week to be over so I can jump back into ranked matches because I got hooked. And it's so good, man. And ah, it's phenomenal. So I won I won 7 matches in a row, which was really like man, I'm doing really good. And I jump into practice. I mean, I played a lot of the arcade mode, so I did play a lot of that. But just jumping into ranked and actually fighting against people, and it pairs with people of the same level, so you won't get a crazy high opponent. So you'll meet people at the same level. But then on my 8th match, I got someone that was way above the rank that I was on, and the level that I was on. So that was a really interesting match because he had a really interesting team. I'm accustomed to my team now, and I won the first one. He won the second one, and I ended up winning the third match. So I won the set. But it's just that the hype, man, and you feel the rush and the adrenaline running, and it's a feeling that I haven't felt since I really got into Street Fighter 4. And so that was almost 10 years ago when 4 came out. So I am really excited to just keep going back and practicing with my team and just practicing with other characters, because I mean I have a team right now, but if I find a character that can give me better synergy than the characters that I have on my team right now, I will definitely switch. And I've been bashing away at that Dragon Ball Superman. So like I said, I was catching up. I watched, man, I think like 20 episodes since we spoke last. So I'm on episode 49 right now. So I left it at episode like 23. Yeah, so I've been doing pretty good, and it's addicting, and the show's really good. I would dare to say, and I'm putting up my flame shield from all the Dragon Ball fans out there. I'm an old school Dragon Ball fan. I've been watching Z since early mid '90s, since before it was aired in the U.S. So I think I like Super better than Z because of, like I mentioned, the character development. They're more to the point. I think it's better written, has so many little details and aspects, and of course it's very reminiscent of Z. But just seeing characters get explored, that's something that you didn't really get a lot on Z. You got that with uh, you know, Vegeta a little bit, and Frieza a little bit, and I think the character that got the most development on Z was Piccolo. But here, like, everyone gets a little thing to do, and I'm really enjoying it, man. Can't say enough. And the other thing that I forgot to show you guys last week, and I forgot to show you, Joel, I did something really crazy. So I was watching this YouTube video about this guy, and I like home theater setups and all this stuff, right? So I could jump on YouTube and just watch what other people have for setups, and just see if I get any ideas, and I'll do it at home. It's just how it works. But I saw this guy that was like, he was saying that he switched his PS4 controller to a soft touch type of cover. So I went on eBay and actually found one, and it looks pretty sweet.
And it's no load time colors, man.
Is the no load time colors? Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It feels okay. It's a 3.5 out of 5. It doesn't fit 100%. It fits like 90%. It's made in China. I mean, it's a knockoff product, but it does the job. It looks really cool. I don't know if you guys can actually see the texture, but it's soft touch. Two issues that I have with it is it doesn't really fit here, and I'm sorry for the audio listeners, but it is basically a soft touch orange PS4 DualShock 4 a cover, basically, or not a cover, but a faceplate. Unfortunately, if you're listening audio, my apologies. But if you're watching the video, you get to
We
see
can
it.
we can
Uh,
see it.
so and it doesn't fit right like here. It has a little bit of an indentation there. And the only thing that really ticks me off a little bit is that the D-pad is a little bit loose. It's not rigid like on my other white PS4 controller. Other than that, it feels good. It still works pretty good. So uh, recommend it maybe if you want something cool to do with your controllers and you know be unique, I guess. But that's what I got, man. Let's jump right into it because we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Starting with, we're gonna get Avengers a week early now, Joel.
Praise the
So,
Lord.
so you got just announced that that Avengers Infinity War is gonna come in a week early on April 27th, correct?
That's right, April 27th. And the way this whole thing went down was through a Twitter conversation around 3 o'clock Eastern today. There was a conversation between the Avengers, the Marvel Entertainment Twitter account, and Robert Downey Jr.'s Twitter account. They put something out there about when the movie was coming out, asking if Robert Downey Jr. would like to see it, and he said, "Yeah, I'd like to see it actually earlier." And they came back and said, "Oh yeah, sure, anything for you, Mr. Stark." And he goes, "Well, can I let my friends come see it too?" He's like, "Yeah, I think we agree. April 27th, everyone gets to see this movie. It's coming out a week earlier." And I did not see this coming. This is something that's a very pleasant surprise. There's obviously some business behind it, right? You have Deadpool and other films that are really going to clog up May. So the earlier it's out, the longer it can run and make more money. And I think that's just a smart move because this movie really should just be doing bonkers in the box office so long as the movie is solid. Which we expect at this point. Of course, anything can happen, but we expect a solid movie. If you've seen any of the last two Russo Brother Marvel movies, you know that they know what they're doing. Anyways, April 27th, man, you know where you'll be able to find Joel Young, and you know where you'll be able to find me for the rest of the month of May because I'll be sleeping at the movie theaters watching this movie over and over and over.
Yeah, exciting because like you mentioned, May is getting to be a very, very busy month. I think this was a great business decision on their side. And Deadpool comes out mid-May, the 14th, right?
Yes.
If I'm not wrong, yeah. So, and this movie was scheduled to come in the week before, so that way they can breathe, Deadpool can breathe, and most importantly for them at this point, Solo can breathe.
That's exactly.
Because that'll give taking a movie, Disney making the right decision on taking their movie, releasing it a week early, basically the previous month, and then releasing another movie at the end of the next month. So they have two movies on two consecutive end of month weekends. That was a great choice. Good call. Whoever made that call at Disney, man, that was a great move. Also, Joel, I wanted to point out, and again, guys, we don't want to keep bashing, but call Marvel the anti-DC, where their movies actually get pushed forward instead of delayed.
But also think of the positive, how the marketing of this, like what a better way to create buzz than using a Twitter conversation. Like if this easily could have been an announcement that any other corporate overlords would have said,
it could be a press release. Yeah,
we're just going to put a press release out there and let it show up on a bunch of blogs that, hey, this is happening. And Marvel said, nope, we're going to use Twitter and we're going to have a fun little spat between Mr. Stark, as they refer to him, and Marvel. And I love that. And it got me instantly, excited. So, and there's a lot of other celebrities that are retweeting it. I think there's a lot of people looking forward to this movie. And I think it can actually make Star Wars level money. Should the movie be really good when it comes out. So, Marvel's not doing anything bad financially anyways. They've already completely past the amount of money that Justice League has made with their Black Panther movies. So they're quickly showing that their movies are strong and people resonates with people.
Oh yeah, and now that you saw the reception of Black Panther and having Black Panther be prominent on the Infinity War trailer,
True.
they're gonna get those people are gonna go back and watch Infinity War because Black Panther's in it. Plus,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Plus, you got all of us that I haven't seen Black Panther. I don't think that movie's gonna come out uh, before April 27th on Blu-ray. I highly doubt it. It would be a great move on the part of Disney, but I highly doubt it. That movie's probably going to be like a May, like maybe the next week, maybe Black Panther will become available. If that's the case, Joel, I will not get spoiled on the movie, but I will watch the end of credit stuff online. I'll find it and I'll watch it. That way I can go in with context and not be a total loser. Uh, hey, Thor comes out Tuesday. I'm gonna get that, and then we can talk about it next week, I guess.
That's right.
But yeah, great move. I think this movie is gonna do phenomenal. Disney's making the right calls again, man. They know what they're doing, and they have an amazing analytics team that are putting out numbers and letting them know, hey, if you release a week early, you can make this so much money because it won't take away from this other movie, so you have an extra week and make more money. So yeah, they're making the right calls. Good for Disney, good for Marvel. Unfortunately, Joel. Go ahead, man.
Well, I was gonna say, like, what's really good too is like I think now, like with Black Panther taking a steam that it just going full speed. Like now they're starting to realize, okay, like we let Black Panther do the success it is. Now let's start to promote this movie because it's gonna come out shortly after to get more hype on that. So they're doing this fun stuff, like you're saying, like the Black Panther audience pulling them into this movie. But then they also have just the fun, PR side with Twitter with this thing now coming out sooner. And then from a comic book standpoint, they also did something really cool. I don't know if you got to see this, but they had their prelude, their prequel kind of comic come out for the movie. That just came out, I believe, today. I believe it actually just came out.
Okay.
And I've only got to see some of it, limited time. Hopefully over this week I'll be able to see more. But the cool thing is, like, they expose a lot of stuff of what was going on with these characters, like where they've been, what they've been up to before Infinity War, including Captain America and Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Thor. And without getting to too many spoilers, because it actually is filled with some stuff that I know is going to tie right away into the movie. But yeah, there's a certain character that was holding Cosmic Cube and got sucked up into the sky, and he was in the first Captain America movie. Seems like he's not dead, just as all the fans had thought.
Yeah, just like we thought. Yeah. Like I thought he wasn't gone, and I love that guy.
Yeah, Red Skull probably. There's a chance we'll see him in this movie, actually. So
that's awesome.
I mean, if the comics are saying anything, they're saying, "Hey, look, this guy's alive."
Yeah, maybe he became a minion or something.
Right. Doctor Strange is probably the one who's the most aware of what's actually going on. Like with everyone, he's very much been watching the stones according to these comics. Like Iron Man has an idea and he's in full preparation mode, but Strange, like because of exactly what was said to him, if you've seen the end of Doctor Strange, you know that Moto says to Strange, because of you using the stone, he uses something along the lines of like the bill comes due. And like it's gonna something bad is gonna happen, like because we've crossed the line that the Ancient One did, where now we're using it the way we want. And like for Strange, he's like, well, the benefits outweigh the negatives of this. Like I had to do it, but now this is the situation of what the bill comes due. Like they start going a little bit more into this comic book. So who knows? There's gonna be a lot of characters that are gonna show up in this movie. It's gonna be flooded with stuff, and I'm totally fine with that. We've had years of preparation. If you haven't seen the other movies, like today is the day to start watching because there's a whole lot of stuff to catch up on.
18 movies, come on.
Yeah, you got a lot to catch up on, but it's coming April 27th, even sooner, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping to get surprises from that movie too. I'm hoping to see the established Marvel characters. I'm hoping, Joe. Oh man, a boy can dream. I'm hoping to see some other characters in that movie, but we'll see.
Some X-Men.
Hopefully, hopefully. Do you? Yeah. Okay.
You'll probably
So
cry. You'll probably cry if you see
I'll probably
Wolverine.
cry if I see it. If I see anyone at this point. At this point, I could freaking see multiple man, and I'll be excited. I don't care. So Joe, unfortunately, moving into sort of same type of news, but on the opposite direction. Um, Joe, what happened with Batgirl?
Okay, this is like something that is really weird because I remember you and I were together when the initial announcement came out that Joss Whedon was going to be doing a Batgirl movie, and it was like trending online, and I was very skeptical of this movie. I don't know if you remember when
You
it was
were, yeah.
announced.
Yep. You told me it's
Like,
like I don't think about. I'm not sure about this thing.
yep, and I was
Yeah.
and I still remained that way throughout until I was like, I'm not going to believe it until I see it. And this last weekend, we just found out that Joss Whedon dropped out of doing the Batgirl movie. He is stating that something along the lines, you can read a statement online, but he says something along the lines of like, I thought I could really make this a fantastic movie. I thought I had a great idea, but there's no great way of saying that I failed and that I can't do this and that I need to remove myself from the project. Okay, the belief behind this is that he's doing the politically nice way of let me take the hit so you guys don't take the hit, but it really was creative differences. He wanted to make one movie, WB wanted to make another. Remember, he already worked on Justice League. He knows the mess that's going on over there with the DC films. He doesn't want to have a repeat of that already. He can smell what's going on. And as I've said before, when it comes to DC, I'm not saying that they're a complete mess. They have good stuff, but where there's smoke, there's fire. And now we're starting to see the fire starting to rise.
Yeah, it started to leak out. And this is bad news for DC fans and bad news for pretty much anyone that was looking forward to that movie, because I remember when it was announced, there was a lot of hype. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing, and I'm going to be there day one." And Joss Whedon now, so yeah, this is absolutely, without a question, a nice way for Whedon to say, "Yeah, it was a freaking mess, and I just left." There's no other way around it, seriously. And considering a lot of the issues that the DCEU um, is going through, and the movies are not doing great financially and critically, like not necessarily critically, because I don't think Justice League got panned per se, but it was mediocre-ish.
Yeah,
I mean,
mediocre is a good word.
yeah, I mean, like I haven't seen the movie. I'll see it in a couple of weeks, but um, I find that, like we've said a million times on the podcast, DC needs to get their stuff together and let creators create, or they just need to stop and stick with the animated features, which I've heard that the last few have
Very
not
good.
been. Yeah, they've been very good, but financially, those movies are like dead investments. They probably get their money back, and that's it. I mean,
Oh yeah.
they're not gonna set the world on fire. I mean, they can get royalties out of a Netflix deal or something.
I think the worst one that came out that actually probably made money for them was The Killing Joke. That probably was the worst one that come out.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. Like, no one really liked the clean.
It was bad because it just was a total like slap in the face of some of the Batman stuff that we know. The best
Yeah,
part of it is that we had Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill.
yeah. But I mean, I guess we'll see. And going into this, Joel, what do you think is going to happen to Whedon now that he's out of this one? He's not going to go back to Marvel, because the Russos are, I think, way better at their job than he is.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of unfair to say that in some degree. Like, I just think that what the Russos make is more widely accepted. Like their movies are well more received. Like he created a lot of magic with that first Avengers movie, and even then, like Disney was like saying, okay, there's certain things you gotta play within the line. There was some rumors of some really cool stuff that he was actually going to do with that movie that I would have been interested in seeing like where it could have gone. And that movie's fantastic. It's one of the movies I've seen the most ever in my life in theaters. I think I saw it like 5 or 6 times. But I think that Joss Whedon needs to stay away from the superhero scene for a little bit. I think that I don't want Justice League to be the last superhero movie that he has his hands on necessarily. But I think that he's got some original ideas with his characters. You know, Buffy and Angel and all that. It'd be good to see him get back to that creator, Joss Whedon,
I
and
agree.
then maybe later on return in some other capacity as a producer or something with his ideas for a superhero movie.
Yeah, I think me personally, I think the recent Avengers, or at least the first one, and Age of Ultron is not a bad movie whatsoever. I've said that before as well because a lot of people's like, "Oh, Age of Ultron is a bad movie." It's not. It's not a bad movie. Um, but he was definitely reined back a little bit from Disney. Like Disney was like, "Whoa, yeah, hold on," but take rein it back a little bit. Versus his movies were really safe. He was good at what he was doing, but the movies were really safe. Versus you get a movie like Winter Soldier that is like going like the way that you actually got a superhero like Captain America and made this intriguing spy action drama is just ah mind blowing. And that's still my favorite Marvel movie, and it's one of my favorite movies ever because that movie is good. In very very different areas. I think it's fantastic. Anywho, so back to Whedon. I think he should. I think right now he should actually pitch something to an online service, to like Netflix or
That's a good bet.
or Amazon, and he can land a really good deal with that and actually get creative and do a sci-fi thing or whatever. Uh, I think that would be a great option for him. I don't think he's really ready for the big blockbuster type of movies. He was with Avengers because he was already working with established franchises and just bringing them together. He happened to be the right person for that at the time. That being said, I don't think it's in him anymore, and I think he should look into doing smaller projects.
Right, and I think he's got a lot of like bad PR also more recently. I mean, I'm sure you heard about the whole thing about his script for Wonder Woman that had come out like a while back. People were really trying to bash him about like the stuff with that, and they're like, "Oh, we're so glad." And people started making some comments that I think that they took a little bit out of context. I understand why they felt the way they felt, but I think they took a little bit out of context. The Wonder Woman movie was great, but the reason that that movie was great is because Patty Jenkins made the Wonder Woman story that we deserved, not the Wonder Woman story that is necessarily known from the creator of Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
You and I both know the comic creator of Wonder Woman. He gave us one of the best characters ever, but we also know he was a little cuckoo.
little
That's
movie.
just he was a little loopy is a nice way of saying it, and he should not be anywhere, especially in 2018. He probably shouldn't be anywhere around women. Is the way I
Yeah,
would word it.
yeah,
So if Wonder Woman movie was made the way that Wonder Woman, the way we view Wonder Woman, the way she should be, but not necessarily the way she was created. And I think that's why the movie worked out to be the way it is, just for what it is today. Joss Whedon, I think, is very much a purist in some ways. So he's willing to do these Willy Wonka, wild, crazy, kind of goofy stuff. It doesn't transcend very well into the big screen always. And so that's why, like you said, if he can just come up with his own, let him be creative, but let him do it on a smaller budget, smaller scale, we might get something special out of it. But yeah,
yeah.
maybe keeping him away for this time is good to kind of let that cool off.
Yeah. And then Joel, we got news that if the merger between WB and Warner
AT&T.
or in AT&T, or so AT&T is trying to purchase Time Warner, which includes WB. If that merger fails, which I think it's due what, November, if I'm not wrong, or is it before that? I think November is the Disney Fox one.
Yeah, the difference with this one is that the only reason why it's been stalled is because the government doesn't want this deal to go through for some monopoly rules. So this has been
For
going on
some
for a while.
for some CNN rules, I think too. Yeah, that's my opinion. But go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah, yeah, but it's if this deal that's been proposed by AT&T and WB and they agreed on this deal, like they're like, yeah, we're fine with this. If that deal falls flat, then you have the unfortunate situation that they're saying they're gonna have to start selling off stuff, WB. And one of the ideas is selling off DC films, their DC films, properties and creators. So we could very easily see by next year a completely redone DC cinematic universe. We can see a complete reset button. I think that's a little drastic to see that actually happen, but when it comes down to business at the end of the day, whoever ends up owning these properties, if it does indeed leave Warner's, is gonna make the movies that they want to make, and they have the right to say that we no longer want the same cast, same directors, the same this that we want to completely reset it. Again, I don't think that's a smart thing to do, especially at the success of like movies like Wonder Woman, like we just mentioned. You know, that one character alone, you do a lot. But at the same time, if there's a lot of chaos and wildness, they may not want their hands to do with that. Get the properties, understand it's worth money, and then make it the way they want to make it. So I think that's a fancy thing to be prepared for. It's like if this deal does not fall through at some point and it fails to pass a full deal, then expect to see a very different DCEU come maybe even just a year from now. It could be that quick and it could be that drastic. Be
Yeah,
prepared.
and the big thing is that based on the reporting, if it fails, Warner, I guess Warner's not comfortable with being a company anymore, and they want to just basically split the company in parts and sell it off. You know, basically, whoever wants to buy a piece of Warner, say someone wants to buy their cable, which I believe Comcast already tried, and you got, you know, someone buys, I don't know, CNN, and someone buys the Warner Brothers Studios. DC being one of their properties is up in the air and sort of up for grabs. So maybe that picture with Mickey getting his last Infinity Gem on his glove from that from that weird trailer. Maybe I don't think so. I don't think so. But now that Fox is out of the picture, and Warner, if they don't want their properties, who else is left? Sony, but Sony's been rumored to being shopping around to see
They're
who wants
sellers
to,
right now.
yeah, to see who wants to buy their movie division. So Joel, at some point, someone like, man, I'm thinking Disney in 20 years is going to own 80% of Hollywood. Seriously. And
I mean, the only thing
um,
I can see stopping it is like if Amazon, like Jeff Bezos, decides to get into like the TV movie business. Like, I mean, it's possible. The guy basically is rich, like ridiculous.
that would be a great
But
choice.
yeah,
Yeah. Because they would do like their quality control. They already are, an established studio, and they've already started producing movies like for Hollywood. So that
exactly.
would that would be a great choice. And that's a, company or a person that's not gonna run out of money anytime soon. So
No.
uh, they can do those properties. They can do well with those properties, and they have established relationships with a lot of creators. So yeah, absolutely, that would be a great choice.
Yeah, there's also some other interesting, weird news, weird stuff to talk about here. There was a leak online. We've talked about leaks before with images. We had Captain Marvel a few episodes before. Now this episode, we have a leaked image of Shazam.
Oh boy.
Zachary Levi is playing Shazam, and it's him. I mean, you can see it.
Yep.
He's wearing the Shazam costume. And Obed, I mean, there's no nice way of putting it because it's not. I'm not trying to say this as like, oh, I'm a Marvel person. Marvel's great. DC's terrible. Because I was skeptical with the Captain Marvel costume, but I said, hold on, we don't know what it looks like in person. But at least the Captain Marvel suit didn't look wonky. It just looked unfinished. This Shazam costume just looks like utter fabric and garbage. Something that we would have gotten maybe 15 years ago.
So this, all right. Here's the problem that I have with this suit, with this picture that showed up. Right, it's accurate. It's comic accurate. It's comic accurate. You know, it's
True.
very the colors are accurate. The design is accurate, but it's a little too accurate. Can you imagine Marvel with the fish scales Captain America with the little wings on the side? And no, man, that's not gonna fly. And that's the problem that this leak showed, is that the suit looks like something out of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. And I don't know if it's because of budget. I don't know if this is like an early thing in the movie and then it changes. We don't have context, but it doesn't look super great, Joe. I don't know.
Doesn't. The thing is, like, I have not had issues with this movie. Like all the news coming out about this is one of the few DC movies that I've actually felt like there's a lot of good news coming out of it. Good cast, good writers, directors. Just sounded like something good all around. Like they wanted to go for a lighter tone. This is an example of a lighter tone. We're not laughing in a way that you expected, and I don't think I want to be laughing like this when this movie comes out.
Oh boy, I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. It's gonna be interesting. I was sort of looking forward for this to this movie because I like the character. I mean, it's supposed to be more of the lighthearted characters in DC, and it has a great villain. So I was looking
Played by
forward to
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
yeah. If he's still attached to the project, I mean,
Uh,
who who knows, man. I wish these guys would do good, man. I really wish DC would sit down and it's like, all right, guys, let's make this happen. Let's scale it back a little bit. Let's take a deep breath and figure this out. But instead, they just no, man, just keep running with the ball. You're out of bounds. I don't care. Just keep running. Yeah, that's what's going on at DC, and it's unfortunate. So,
oh boy. Well, Obed, there's some good gaming news out there. Tell us a little bit about PS Plus and what's going on there.
yeah, so changes announced to PS Plus, and there's some big games coming out next month. So for next month on PS4, we are getting Bloodborne and we're getting Ratchet and Clank, two highly acclaimed games, and we're also getting Mighty Number Nine for both PS4 and PS3. We're also getting two more games for PS3 and Vita. I'm not super familiar with them, and the name escapes right now, but yeah, big month for PS Plus. I think the biggest piece of news to come out of this is that March 2019 is going to be the last month that they will be offering PS3 and PS Vita games on PS Plus subscriptions. Polygon reached out to Sony to get clarification on some things, and what I understand is that they will no longer offer games for PS4 for PS3 and Vita, and they will not add PS4 games. So I guess what they're looking to do is doing two PS4 games and doing two PSVR games. Maybe one of those PS4 games is going to be crossplay with Vita, whatever be the case. That sometimes happens. But Joe, this is significant because they actually gave you 2 more years of support with the PS3. So they gave you 12 years support instead of 10 years. So that's amazing. The Vita, unfortunately, not too great. I I'm wondering if it's gonna go out with a bang and we'll get really good games for Vita on that month. Maybe we'll get something like Persona 4 Golden or something from the Vanillaware games that came out for Vita. But man, sad because I love the Vita. PS3, I haven't played PS3 in so long, man, that it's fine. If they don't want to offer the way I see it is like you can take away PS3 games and PS Vita games from PS Plus, and if you give me two high quality PS4 games, I'm fine. Like I don't mind it at all. But PS3, I haven't played it in so long. I haven't plugged in and I really I don't even know why it's plugged in because I don't even play it anymore. I moved 100% to PS4. Up until like maybe last summer, I was still going back and forth, but it's been a while since I just sat down on a PS3 and played a game. I really want to because there's really good games that I want to go back and revisit. But and I have a ton of games for PS3, but at the same time, it's like why why would I have to deal with this? I know that I can use a PS4 controller on it, but at the same time, it's just go ahead.
I was gonna say, and it's a great year because this year a lot of good games are coming out. So it's not like you're struggling, like, oh, I should go back because I want to play this, and there's nothing good coming out. Like, there's so many good things keeping you busy on PS4 that it's like, why even,
Yeah, they just announced the release date for Detroit Become Human today, and it's coming out in May, coming out late May. So, man, it's packed year. First half of this year has been amazing so far, and we're gonna get God of War next month. Then we're gonna get Detroit, and then we're missing Spider-Man and Days Gone. Days Gone, I think Spider-Man's gonna be a late 2018 game. It's gonna be like either October, November, maybe before Black Friday. Like it's gonna be after August 1st, before Black Friday. I think Spider-Man's gonna come out somewhere in that
E3
date.
announcement.
That rate, they most likely we'll get an E3 release date announcement for that. And in Days Gone, I think Days Gone is going to be like a February next year type of game. I don't think that I think that game needs more polish and it needs a little bit more TLC. It looks too much like The Last of Us. And that's unfortunate, but and not unfortunate because The Last of Us doesn't look good because it looks fantastic. But unfortunate because it's going to create some confusion with the casuals and all that. But who cares? It's as long as they make their sales, it's fine. They just announced that Horizon Zero Dawn's 1 year anniversary was yesterday. They announced that they've sold almost 8 million copies, 7.6 million copies, and that game's probably gonna get to 10 by the end of the year because people are still going back, revisiting. They've got great deals on the complete edition on PSN right now. So once they add those digital sales that are going on right now and that really good sale, and if they keep, putting the game on sale out in retail, and if they bundle the game up this coming holiday, which most likely is going to be the case, then they're bound to get to that number. But yeah, really big stuff coming for PlayStation, major changes for PS Plus. But like I said, we're gonna get another year of support out of PS3. That's fantastic. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I'm good with that. And Joel, I totally forgot that Metal Gear Survive came out because I have zero cares for that game. and I'm not one of those guys that was like, oh, this is not a Kojima game because and that's why you hate it. No, I got Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is one of my it's probably my third favorite game on PS3, and I played that game so much and I absolutely love it, and that game was not made by Kojima and I absolutely love it. So I'm not in that thing, but after everything that happened and all that, it was like I was still willing to give the game the benefit of the doubt. But there was no reviews on release date, always not a great sign. And then the reviews, when they started pouring in, they were mostly mediocre. So unfortunately, I decided not to pick it up. But I've probably decided that long before. But the what we're talking about right now, the game got released last week. Amongst it's 100,000 issues that I have with that game regarding microtransactions and whatnot. Something very interesting came out. So there's a list of officers that are listed in the list at the beginning of the game, and I'm actually looking up the pictures so I can give you guys more detail. But there is a hidden message on this list. So there's the message begins with vengeful mosquito on the that's the first name on the list. So a vengeful mosquito, I find something that's really annoying. So an annoying person is writing the list. That's what I'm assuming, right? And then the next two letters on that list of the first two letters of the next two last names are the initials MG. So Metal Gear, and those are the only two names that their status show killed in action. So Metal Gear's dead. Yeah. So a true patriot. And then after that, the next three letters spell KJP, Kojima Productions. There's a space and says forever. The next letters coming down. So KJP forever. These guys are saying Kojima Productions forever. These guys are chained up in a dungeon over a Konami in Japan, and they went ahead and did this. And the last two are really funny because it's Bastard Yoda and Cunning Juji. The director of the game, his first name's Yoda. I forgot his last name. And then the producer, first name is Juji, and they are both AWOL. So they basically gave the things to do to the team, and what I interpret is that they didn't do anything. And they got called out.
Wow.
That's how I interpret it. But yeah, I mean, little Easter egg that people found on Metal Gear Survive. I have zero interest for that game, Joel. I'm not going to buy that. If you give it to me for free, I will probably open it and trade it in GameStop and get me a game that I'm interested in, or buy or get me a PSN card or something. But
wow,
just so you know.
Wow. I mean, I feel so bad, man, because I know you're like the biggest Metal Gear fan I've ever known. So
yeah, I
love it. It went out great with the Phantom Pain, but this Survive thing is just a big knockoff, and it's just nothing to have to pick up, even though you're a fan.
Yeah, I'm not. Sorry, guys, and I'm not being a hater. I really wanted this game to be good, but no. I mean, sorry.
That trailer though was horrible. I only watched it once.
Those trailers
were not.
What is this? Yeah, those trailers were not good. The gameplay demos were not good. No, I mean, it's and $10 if you want an additional save slot. That's ridiculous, dude.
Money grab.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, that's a slap in the face, and that's disrespectful. To be honest with you. Yeah. Anywho, Joe, Kevin Smith, man, we almost lost him.
Yeah, dude, like that was when I saw the headline, I didn't know if it was a joke because of the picture that was shown of like him, like like in the hospital. But Kevin Smith suffered a massive heart attack. Like it was one of those bad ones that he could have never came back from, kind of thing. That thank God he was able to get to the hospital, and that they told him like your life is safe and then you're good. But I mean, it was a bad one, and
it was like 100% blockage or something like that, and it's crazy. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's one of those deals where like he instantly like had to put something out there afterwards saying like, yeah, I did have this. I'm okay, but like this was serious. I did confirm I did suffer a massive heart attack. I know that a lot of people started tweeting out their condolences to him, wishing him to get healthy and well, and that he's back on the scene doing what he does with TV and movies. I know there were some people who had some really negative things to say. I know Chris Pratt put out there something about saying that he was really just praying for him, and some people tried to come against that. But I'm so glad that Kevin Smith and other James Gunn and other people said, like, look, like he's not saying anything bad. Like, he's wanting this guy to really be well, and he's wished for him the best. So, like, let it go. But I mean, I think the biggest moral of this whole thing is, like, take your health really seriously. If you're not feeling well or something's not going right, make sure you check with your doctor, or go to the hospital. If you're someone that you have some really bad, like, health habits, life is stressful, life is hard, and there's try and get help, try and also do what you can to better your health. Can check with your doctor. Maybe there's something you can change in your diet that will help you to progressively get better. It's something that even Kevin Smith himself has said, like, look, I need to take my health more seriously, and I think that's a good moral for all of us. So we can all do better. It doesn't matter who we are. And I wish him well, and I look forward to having him, back behind the camera doing what he does, writing his stories and talking about comic book movies and watching him on YouTube, and just being Kevin Smith, being Kevin Smith.
Yeah, get well, Kevin, and the Lord put you on this earth for a purpose, and that is to direct the Superman movie. So don't you dare die on me before we're directing a Superman movie. Damn it.
The death of Superman lives. What happened?
Yeah, directed by Kevin Smith. Oh, so yeah, man, get well, and absolutely, do what you do, man. Keep being a funny dude, because you're great at it. So that's wishes. Joel, that's about wraps it up for tonight. Go ahead and plug in our Insta snaps and our Snapgrams and all that stuff that you kids like right now.
Yeah, I like to keep in touch with my youthful side here with the rise of digital media. Yeah, guys, go ahead and give us a follow on social media. We want you to be our friends. So follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time, the exact name of our podcast. You probably, if you're watching the video, you see it right below me. And then if you are listening to us through the podcast version, please go ahead and subscribe to us. If you're on Android or Google Play, if you're an iPhone, go ahead and follow us on iTunes. Subscribe. If you're a subscriber on iTunes, we really appreciate any reviews you could drop for us. That would really help us out. Also, if you would send in your questions, comments, feedback to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. We welcome anything you guys say, questions, comments, concerns, whatever. We might talk about here on the show what we've done before in the past. If you are watching this, thank you. I feel like I'm friends with you guys, even though I can't see you, and I really appreciate you guys watching and listening. So go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see our latest episodes and get notified when our new episodes come out. It's No Load Time here on YouTube. So if you're listening to us, just go on YouTube and type in No Load Time, and you should see our channel come up there. So we really look forward to our next episode. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff to talk about. But until next time, we'll see you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next time.